Greetings and salutations from the basement. I've just been doing a little bit of house chores because it is the weekend, and the weekend is my cleaning time reset for the week. I am down in the basement because I finished my Buckbeak Lego, and it's time to find somewhere on my slowly dissipating space on my shelves for him. So I'm going to maybe move some things around because there's only so much space I actually have. We're gonna get Buckbeak a home, and then I'm gonna think about which one I want to start next because I have 4 other ones that I want to succeed at building. You can see my predicament at having space on my bookcases. I'm going to clear this off for my incoming Harry Potter sets that I received for Christmas. Other than that, I really don't have much room. I had to put my Hogwarts Express up there to keep my cat from not interfering with it because she really likes the ones that she can jump into because she can jump up to pretty much here. So I don't like keeping Lego sets lower. Yeah, I'm just gonna move some of this stuff down from the lower bookcase and hopefully keep her away from it until I can put the other Lego sets that I build down there to kind of fill in the space and hopefully prevent her from getting into them. It's really hard with animals, especially a cat as curious as mine, because she really likes to get into things she's not supposed to. She's scaled these bookcases. I try not to let her down here, but if I don't let her down here, she starts crying and it's very incessant. It's all just a compromise with my cat. I am facing quite the conundrum. So I have Diagon Alley, right? It's like 4 modular buildings that you can attach, but they don't fit on one shelf, and I want to have them on display like all together, and it's incredibly infuriating because it's like maybe 2 inches off. I always do this because I've tried to do this probably 3 or 4 times because I want to have them displayed all together. So I'm just annoyed. I don't understand with these bookcases. I wish they were longer. I mean, that would make them heavier, but I just feel like I'm not utilizing as much space as I could on this shelf because they don't fit, and it's so annoying. Same thing like with my Hogwarts castle. Like, my Hogwarts castle doesn't fit together the way it should. Like, I have it in 2 separate pieces instead of fully on display because it doesn't fit in the case when it's put together because you build it in 2 halves. So the Billy bookcases look good, but for Lego displaying purposes, they're not wide enough and they're also not long enough. So I don't recommend for bigger sets for Legos. But this is just something like I've run into that I've found incredibly annoying. I don't know if anyone else has had the same issue, but it was just something worth mentioning. I have the Legos where I want them. I put Buckbeak here. My goal is to have this whole one bookshelf be all my Harry Potter sets. The only tricky thing is getting them to actually fit. So I think once I find, like, my grandpa has like extra cases and stuff, they don't match. So I could easily put them in that if I really wanted to. I have to work something out because my Legos keep accumulating, yet I am not acquiring more shelving. So for right now, I'm happy. I need to figure out what I want to do with all my art supplies because I do have my art supplies down here as well. I could also put those in a different shelf or like storage situation. When I unpacked, they were all together with my Legos, so I just never moved them. Some things to think about with my Lego display situation, predicament, conundrum, if whatever have you. But for right now, I'm okay. I know this is not ideal for my cat though, because there's ample space for both of these shelves. I opened up space here, so it's gonna be a nightmare in regards to that. As for right now, I'm gonna make some breakfast because I'm very hungry. I think my next Lego build is going to be the Mandrake. Yeah, you see this? I'm 5'3", and she jumped up here all by herself. I also have the Tuxedo Cat. If you're wondering why I received the tuxedo cat, it is because of her. And then I also have the Patronus. And then I don't know where my mom got this because I did not even know that this was a set. But it's the Durmstrang ship and like Fleur de Delacour's, like what their school came in. I don't know why I'm blanking on their name. It's so much fun. I love Legos, if you haven't been able to gather that. And I think it's so sweet when my parents and family get me Legos. Like the tuxedo cat my little sister got me, it like represents me so well, you know? So yeah, I'm gonna make some breakfast, clean, get my sheets put in the dryer, get my bed reset, and then I will either do a Lego or read. I really need to finish my Year of Rest and Relaxation by Miss Otessa because that is due on the 21st. I could check it out one more time, but I'd rather not because I've already had this book for a month. So time crunch for that one. But I am like 50 pages in. I'm enjoying it. It's another one of those character-driven novels where you're just following the FMC around, and it's just like her talking about like what led up to her taking a year off and why she needs so many sleeping pills. Like, this girl loves Ambien and online shopping. Teach their own. Rest and the relaxation, everybody needs it some way or the other. But I need to go upstairs. There's no heat on in the basement because I've had it off since my family left, and it is frigid down here. Like, if I had to guess, it's probably like 58 degrees because my nose and my feet are cold. Greetings. Oh, that's so late. I'm back. I am 99 pages to be exact in my Year of Rest and Relaxation. Having a decent time with this. The FMC is, I mean, like, the whole premise of this book is basically she's tired of working and she's like a trust fund baby, kind of. Like, her parents' inheritance is what is her means of living while not working or doing anything. So basically she has like investments and inheritance, and the only thing she really does is like goes to the bodega to get coffee, which I find so hilarious. And then she goes and sees her doctor to get like more sleeping pills, and then she's just having these weird drug-induced sleeping fits, I guess you could say. I wouldn't recommend her writing for somebody who's not used to character-driven plots or things that are very meandering, because considering this is the second book I've read by her that's very similar to this, her books are just kind of like, you know, like you're just kind of going on, like everything's chill, there's not like a raging plot. You're just kind of like following the character along, and if you're down for the ride, you're down for the ride, and some people are not down for the ride. No, I'm enjoying it for the most part. I'm like a third of the way through, getting a bit repetitive because I mean, all she does is takes a bunch of sleeping pills. Her friend stops in every now and then who she hates. She goes to her doctor, who's like nuttier than a squirrel, who probably shouldn't be prescribing medication, but she is anyway. And like, I'm enjoying it. I keep saying that like I have to like justify it because like it doesn't seem like something you should enjoy. I'm enjoying it because I love books about kooky, weird people. Like, it kind of reminds me of Jen Began's writing or Emily Austen. Like, the past few books I've read that I've mentioned in videos are somewhat similar to this, so I'm more used to this type of writing now. As of right now, I have some soup thawing, and my grandpa, I'm gonna make him a steak tonight for dinner. I think I'm gonna do my soup with some tater tots. I know that that's a weird combo, right? I don't think I've ever had soup and tater tots as a combo, but it just sounded so cozy, and like I could do slices of like toasted or fried bread with my soup. But I had tater tots yesterday, and I've been so fixated on them because I haven't had tater tots consistently in years, and my grandpa bought a whole bag, so I've just been like thinking about it nonstop, so that's probably why I want them. But I love tots. I want to try to get like 150 pages through this book, and I know I'm not trying to like speed read, you know, I'm not sifting or skimming, But I do want to try to finish this book so I don't have to renew it again, because I've had this book for so long. And I just feel like such a bad person. Like, I shouldn't have a book this long from the library. Like, it's not mine. Hard with certain books because you are anticipating it to be a book that you're meant to, like, sit with for a little bit. And it's not like this is one of them. It's just that I've had so much going on that I haven't had a chance to read this one. And I'm glad I waited, but at the same time, like, what if someone else has wanted to read it and they're just waiting patiently or impatiently for this book? Like, it just makes me feel so mean, because I hate when I, like, go and see a book and I'm like, oh, I'll check it out next week, and then it's gone. That makes me angry. And man, I'm trying so hard. I definitely want to purchase, like, her backlist. I want to read another one of her books. Like, I've heard Eileen's interesting. McGee, something like that. It's like some, like, short mystery kind of vibe. I have La Pova, I think is what it's called. La Pova, I think. A little sheep on the cover. I just love her covers too. Like, they're very jarring. There's just something about them. Like, I love an outrageous cover, you know, or like an overly simple cover. I want to have them displayed on my shelf one day. I mean, now is not the time, but one day I will have all of her books on my shelf, and it's gonna be great. Pardon my car being on. It is 30 degrees outside. I am about to drop a book off at one of the little libraries while I'm waiting for this, like, cinnamon bread that I made to come, or to cool down. I figured I'd get out of the house for a little bit. Not for very long, but just a little bit. So I figured I'd drop this book off. I had originally borrowed it from a little library, but I don't see myself reading it. I feel like my tastes have changed. I've had it for a little bit now, and, like, I'd rather it be available for someone else to read than it sit on my shelf and not get read. So I'm gonna see if there's anything fun, but I'm not really looking. I just figured I'd drop it off because I've been looking at it and it kind of irks me that it's just been sitting there. So that's what I'm up to at the moment. I had a pretty chill morning, did some chores, did my Bible study, talked to my sister and my mom, so that was fun. And yeah, I've kind of just been taking it easy. It's Sunday. Sundays are meant to be chill. I'm gonna read when I get home and then get working on dinner. I think I'm gonna do, like, cubed chicken breast with sweet potato and cauliflower. It's either sweet potato or rice. I think I'm gonna go the sweet potato route though. So I just dropped the book off. I would have recorded, but it's so freezing. It's snowing again, and we weren't supposed to really get snow. Like, my mom is, and she's a fair amount more north, like practically North Carolina, so it makes sense that she's getting snow, but it doesn't really make sense that I am getting snow. So I'm gonna get home. I'm frigid. I need to start my car. Greetings. I am in the library parking lot to drop off my Year of Rest and Relaxation. I finished it. It was such a fun time. Like, I can see why the views and opinions on this book are so polarizing, because it's not the most exciting read or the most fun read. There's not really a plot. You know, a lot of character-driven books, there's not going to be a raging plot. You're just kind of, like, following. It's very mundane. And I still had a great time. This is the second book that I've read by Miss Otessa that has left me just being like, huh, after it ends. Even when I finished it last night, I just sat there and just kind of, like, thought, like, I read the last page and then I was like, oh, that's the end, you know? I do enjoy her writing style. I know it's not for everyone, and I wouldn't recommend it if you need a book to hold your attention. This is a book that you would read if you're okay with it being somewhat boring, you know? Yeah, the mundane books, the books that aren't, like, much isn't going on, are some of my favorite. And yeah, I just had a really interesting time reading this because I really related to the FMC, because I did something similar just without all the Ambien. Like, I quit my job, I took a year off, I moved up here, And, you know, I've been getting healthy and starting school again, like all these things. And I took a year off and now I'm like trying to start a business. So I really related to the character in her desire to take a year off because, you know, society doesn't condone things like that. Usually you get shamed for taking time off and not wanting to be an achiever. And like sometimes you just need quiet. Like back in the day, if someone was sick, they would take them to the coast for a couple months and let them hang out by the beach until they got better. And now it's like, oh, like in 3 days, if you're not back to work, like you can get fired. Like how awful is that? I really enjoyed this book. I would recommend it if you like books that are character driven and where you're just kind of going about their days with them. But if you are really into like fantasy and like heavy plot and world building and politics and stuff like that, this is definitely not the book for you. But I loved it. I'm so sad that it's over. I'm so glad that I read it though. It's taken me over a month to read it and I don't know why. I had such a great time. And it tends to be that way for some reason with books. I'll hold on to them and then I read them. I'm like, why did I wait so long? Like, this was fantastic. I'm gonna drop this off. I was tempted to go to Barnes & Noble maybe because my mom has a rewards and she said I could use her $5. But that's like a almost 30-minute drive and it's 28 degrees outside. It's rather unpleasant. Like, it's nice, but the wind is kind of nippy. I might be able to just walk around and enjoy it because sometimes it's hectic. In a town of 7,000, which compared to where I used to live is nothing, but for small towns, like, it's kind of big. The downtown is outrageous, so I am debating on that as well. If not, I'll just go home, walk on my walking pad, do my workout, and get back on my schoolwork. I was doing my math this morning. If you ever just want to be humbled and really take yourself down a peg, try doing math that you haven't done in like 10 years. And not like easy math. I'm talking about like graphing different types of whatevers. I'm struggling. It's my second week and I am having such a hard time. And I'm trying so hard, but I'm really struggling. It's a good challenge. It's just so humbling. I'm not used to like having to try this hard in school. Usually school-oriented things come somewhat easily to me. In regards to like English and history. Science, it's hit or miss. Math has always been my like thorn in my side. I could cry if I really wanted to think about it hard enough. I just need to have faith in myself and trust that I will be able to retain the information that I need to when the test comes. Because I'm telling you, I took a quiz and as soon as the test pops up, I'm like, there's no thoughts. There's nothing in my brain. Like, what is a brain? And I don't know why it's like that with math. Like when I go into English and history tests, I'm so confident, but for whatever reason, math, every time. I had this issue in high school. Like I would drive myself to hysterics. Like even on my SAT, I did so poorly on my SATs. Most of my math classes, I was like a C average student. Whereas like all my other classes, I was an A, B student, like mostly A's. So it's just not my jive. Like, you know, some people are gifted in certain things. Math, no. Definitely not me, fam. Not me. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's gonna be fine. That is light. That is a little bit better. My mom happened to be right. I could have sworn that the blinds, they do let light in, but not as bad. Anyway, I got back from one of the little libraries downtown. It's freezing, incredibly unpleasant. Wouldn't recommend it to my worst enemy. My fingers went so numb. Somebody recently had dropped off a bunch of books at one of these libraries and it was a pigsty. The books were everywhere. There was no rhyme or reason. The kids' books were mixed in with the adult books and what have you, so I organized them and I stumbled across A Man Called Obey. This book keeps following me around. I don't know what, like something wants me to read this book, so I'm gonna have to read it. And it's just so curious why it keeps following me around. It keeps showing up on recommended. I checked it out from the library, didn't have time to read it, so I returned it. And now I'm finding it at a little library, so There's something in the world, the universe, whatever it may be, really wants me to read this book. So I'm gonna read it. There was some really great options in the little library. I just wish there was more like little kid options because it was right by a playground and the kids' picks were pretty slim. There's only like 4 or 5. So exciting. I would have walked around more, but like I said, my hands, like I was getting like pins and needles in my fingers from how cold it was, and handling all the books like they were practically frozen. Like 28 degrees, like it's usually not that harsh. It's be the wind or something, because usually my hands get cold and like, you know, they get like a little stiff, right? But like, do you see like the tips of my fingers? Like they went so numb. I've never experienced that kind of pain before. I don't know if it's like some sort of issue that I have that I'm unaware of, but wow. Still adjusting to the cold. Don't get me wrong, I feel like I've gotten a lot better about it, especially compared to last winter, but that was definitely a humbling experience, and I don't plan on going outside unless it warms up today, which I don't think is likely right now, and like maybe the next hour is gonna be the peak heat and it's 29 degrees. Like last night, I kid you not, it was like 14 or 12 degrees. Like that's freezing. This side of the house is so much warmer, which is why I spend most of my day here. And I need to move my rabbit too because he's in my bedroom, but I want to move him into this room, but I'd have to move some other things around. His whole setup is in my room, and he's a Netherland dwarf, so he's a lot fluffier than your traditional rabbit, I guess you could say. And like, he does have a solid winter coat, so I guarantee you he's fine. Because like, whenever I touch his ears and stuff, they're not super cold, or like, you know, like he's fine. It's just an emotional thing. Like, I feel bad. Something to consider, because I really am only in my room at night. And even Olive, my cat, since it's been so cold, she sleeps on me incessantly, and she usually doesn't do that. And I did turn the heat up last night because it was so cold. Usually if I keep the heat on like 65, I'm fine, but last night I had to turn it up to 67 because I was in bed and I had goosebumps. Goose flesh, chicken skin, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to end this video here though, since I did like a little reading vlog with my year of rest and relaxation. I did start The Picture of Dorian Gray, and I think I'm going to keep that as like my nighttime book since I have an edition on my Kindle. And I've already highlighted some things on there that I'm going to transfer to my physical book. I want to keep my physical edition nice because it's like a vintage edition and it's so beautiful, so I don't want it to get damaged or anything. My mom got it for me for my birthday, so I'm trying to keep it nice. And then I think for my daytime book, my mom has been begging me. And by begging, I mean she's practically like knocking on my door, playing peekaboo, like, hey girl, when are you gonna start this? Ever since she gave it to me on Christmas. And it is Big Swiss by Jen Began, and it's another one of those character studies, so I'm trying to read Dorian Gray a little bit and then start that one, because the past like 5 books, I swear, have all been like very character driven books, so I don't want to burn myself out on that because I've been enjoying them so much. I'm trying to like taper it a little bit. But yeah, I just wanted to chat about this. Glad we got to chat about Miss Otessa because I'm really starting to like her. She's an odd one, but I for whatever reason, really enjoy her stuff. But I do thank you, those of you who are watching, and for the 2 new subscribers that I received. That's always cool, because most of my subscribers at the moment are my sisters and family and whatnot. So 2 new subscribers besides family and friends, that's dope. So thank you for that. But yeah, if you have any book recs, let me know, or whatever you're reading, holla at your girl, because I love to talk about books. And if you're reading something fun that you think I might be into, because I love the weird, kooky, questionable books, feel free to let me know. But yeah, enjoy your day, your week, the rest of your month, and